going on, guys? Anth Predicts here. So today I have a new election prediction video for you, and I'll be doing President Donald Trump going up against re-election against former mayor and owner of Bloomberg, Michael Bloomberg. So let's get into the election prediction. Number one, I think Michael Bloomberg is one of the better candidates the Democrats have. He's kind of the only one that can match the RNC and President Trump in money and fundraising, as Michael Bloomberg is very wealthy. I think he has about $49 billion as estimated value. A lot of money. He can run his campaign without ever getting a cent from private donors and private super PACs and such. And that's an advantage a lot of Democrats don't have. And that would definitely help out Michael Bloomberg, I think. However, another thing about Michael Bloomberg is he hasn't really. I know every election cycle, he's always one of the first people's name to come up for who's going to run and who might win. But I feel like a lot of younger people who are voting for the first time, kind of like myself really, a lot of us haven't really heard of Michael Bloomberg. That's kind of like before us a little bit, before a lot of millennials and a lot of Generation Z who are voting now. And I feel like that could hurt Michael Bloomberg, but I don't think it'll hurt him too much. Plus, I feel like all this impeachment stuff is helping President Trump out with his base, which we all know the Republican states will go red. But I think the swing state polls in Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Pennsylvania, and Ohio, the impeachment proceedings are underwater in the polls and shows voters aren't happy with them, which could definitely have an effect on how this election ends up going. So let's get into it. I think Michael Bloomberg would win the West Coast, pretty much as you'd expect. I think President Trump would win Alaska, Utah, Wyoming, Idaho, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas we'll come back to, the South, Louisiana, Arkansas, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, and West Virginia. Illinois will go for Mike Bloomberg. The East Coast, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont. Maine's 1st District, New York, that will all go for the Democrats for Mike Bloomberg. The rest of the states that I'm going to be putting in gold, I consider to be battlegrounds, and that doesn't mean I think they all will go either way. I just think that at some point in the campaign, they could be competitive or they will be competitive. So President Trump will get 126 at least, Mike Bloomberg will get 183 at least, and there'll be about 229 battlegrounds. So these battlegrounds, some of them are easy to say. I think President Trump will win in Texas. I can't really see any Democrats winning Texas in 2020. I just don't think it's the Democrats' year to win there. I think against Mike Bloomberg, I think Georgia and Arizona both would stay with President Trump. I just can't really see Mike Bloomberg appealing to the working class voters in these states, especially after President Trump's approval ratings among Hispanics and African Americans have actually gone up, which surprises a lot of Democrats, a lot of people in the media, so I think that'll actually help out President Trump. The state of Colorado, I think Mike Bloomberg will win there. I don't really see many Democrats that will lose Colorado to President Trump. Colorado will go to Mike Bloomberg. Nevada, I could see going for President Trump, actually, but I don't know if Mike Bloomberg's the right candidate. I feel like President Trump would need like a Cory Booker or maybe an Elizabeth Warren to flip Nevada. But I think against Mike Bloomberg, he would probably win. Mike Bloomberg would win there. New Mexico, I think New Mexico could definitely get close and could definitely go to their President Trump and the Republicans. I'm just not really seeing it yet. Because I know the rally is something we were all using as like information about how there were a ton of Democrats there and stuff, but we haven't really seen any actual hard numbers in any polling showing New Mexico will go to President Trump or at least be very, very competitive. So we need some numbers on that before we can start saying what's going to happen. The state of Virginia will go for Mike Bloomberg. I think he'll probably win it by a smaller margin than the Democrats expect because the Democrats are going to be focusing more on the Rust Belt and less on Virginia. And I think President Trump may actually focus on Virginia a little bit more and try and make it a little bit closer and help out some of the House districts. That might be his reasoning there. So I think President Trump or Mike Bloomberg will win in Virginia. I think President Trump will win in Florida. I think President Trump moving to Florida, making it his home state, basically is his home state after how many times he's been there. And now he's making that official. I think Florida Very good for political, presidential incumbents and elections. I think President Trump will win there. He'll win in Florida. The state of Iowa, I think Iowa will go for President Trump. I think the tariffs may have hurt his numbers a little bit, but a lot of people are starting to like warm up to the tariffs and kind of recover from that. And if USMCA gets passed, I think that's definitely going to help out President Trump, especially in places like Iowa and the next state. I think President Trump will win Ohio as well. President Trump actually is polling very well in Ohio. And as I mentioned, there were some new polls that came out of the Rust Belt and Ohio and Arizona, actually, that all look pretty good for President Trump, which is a good sign for him at this point, at this stage of the game. I think North Carolina will go for President Trump as well. I think President Trump will win in North Carolina. I think it'll be about 2 or 3 points he probably wins by. Maine's 2nd district will go for President Trump. However, I think Michael Bloomberg will win Maine at large. I don't really see President Trump winning Maine at large this time around. If he couldn't do it against Hillary, I don't really know if he can do it against any Democrat in this election. New Hampshire, I think, will be close. I think President Trump will be within striking distance again. I just think right now it stays with the Democrats, and Mike Bloomberg would win. It's 4 electoral votes there. Minnesota, I think Minnesota would go for Mike Bloomberg. And Mike Bloomberg would win in Minnesota. I don't really see him being able to pick off Minnesota there. Or President Trump being able to pick it off. I think President Trump would win Wisconsin, though, which would guarantee President Trump's reelection. I don't really see many working class voters who are starting to warm up to Trump and want to vote for Trump now in polling, as we've seen. I don't really see many of them saying, you know what, no, I'm going to vote for Mike Bloomberg instead. So I think President Trump will win in Wisconsin. I think President Trump will win in Pennsylvania as well. I think he'll win in Pennsylvania. I think President Trump will have a much better turnout in the rural areas, and he did very good last time around. But I think he'll have more turnout in the rural areas. And I think he actually might do better in inner city Philadelphia this time around as well. We come down to the state of Michigan, and this one might be an unpopular pick. I actually think Michigan could go for President Trump in this one. I really think this impeachment stuff is going to hurt not Michael Bloomberg, but it's going to hurt the Democrats. I think Michigan actually could go to President Trump, and I think this is actually going to be a very big surprise that Michigan's going to go to President Trump in this one, and President Trump's going to win it by surprise again. And it's going to be kind of a wake-up call to Democrats that they're probably going to ignore. That the Democrats, I don't think, would accept the results of this election. I think they're going to say that President Trump is illegitimate because this whole impeachment hearing is exactly what that is. But nevertheless, in this election prediction, I think President Trump would get 306. Bloomberg would get 232. President Trump's base would come out and support him. Some voters that didn't vote for Trump last time would come out and vote for him. However, the Democratic voters in the Democratic liberal states would still vote for Bloomberg, as they would for pretty much any other Democrat. So yeah, that's my prediction for President Trump versus Mike Bloomberg. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. When you subscribe, smash the watermark in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. All you gotta do is click on it, tap the subscribe button. You don't even have to leave the video. You're subscribed the second you do it. So easy, that easy. Just do it. Help out the channel by doing it so I can keep making great content for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.